Directors regular meeting into order, June 20th, 2019 at 3:56 p.m. So Dave, would you do our Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure.
Please.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
And Charles, I'd like to ask you if you'd be willing to do the invocation and pray over this agency and the people here.
Father in heaven, we just thank you for this this agency that you created 19 years ago. And I just thank you for what you've done through all these people that are dedicated every day for you and this county and this region. And we just praise you for that. We pray that you'll bless this meeting today and just let your light shine on each one of us, and we'll give you the honor and glory for it all in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you. Okay. Brandy, any visitors or? Okay. So recognition of Charles and Elaine Emery. Would you stop it? We saw you would come in several times. We know you'd be bringing him in here, pulling him by the ear.
Charles and Elaine, I'd like for you to join me up here. Ms. Kovacs, you also join us, and Lindsay. So I'm going to try to hold this for a while. I'll hold it back. So you can't help but to walk in this building and see a lot of picture frames around here, and they're adorned with a lot of the blood, sweat, and tears that you have both put into this agency. And I'm going to try not to break up, because I'll tell you, I can't think of two human beings that have given more to not only the region, but to your citizens. Several decades of passion, dedication. As staff, we walk in here and we look at all of these picture frames, and believe it or not, we read them. and you'll notice that there's two declarations here that actually, I think, epitomize the love and dedication that you've both put in here. But we thought, rather than just do a declaration, that we'd give you something that will help you remember DCTA, the staff who very much loves you dearly for all that you've done. Okay, so I'm going to read. I've been a little bit long-winded today, so sorry about that. I'm going to try to get through this. No, I'm fine. So I'm going to read one of these declarations rather than pass a resolution. I figured we do a resolution or read a resolution. And this was signed by David Dewhurst back in 2011. Whereas the Senate of the State of Texas is pleased to recognize the Denton County Transportation Authority on the grand occasion of the completion of the A-Train and the first phase of its service plan for passenger rail. And whereas the A-Train, when it opened in June, will provide regional rail service from Denton and to Carrollton, and to serve Denton, Lewisville, and Highland Village with 5 rail stations. It connects to the Dallas Area Rapid Transit line in Carrollton, which gives passengers access to downtown Dallas and other destinations throughout the North Texas region. And whereas the Denton County Transportation Authority was created by House Bill 3323 and is signed into law in 2001 and 2002 service plan, which includes bus service, the university shuttle system, and a regional passenger rail system. And whereas the authority's mission is to be a leader in advancing public transportation alternatives and to remain committed to providing safe, customer-focused, and efficient mobility solutions for Denton County. And whereas the authority has benefited immensely from the vision and commitment of the board chair, Charles Emery and Elaine Emery, who have improvements to meet the growing transportation demands in North Texas. The Denton County Transportation Authority has become an integral partner in implementing a seamless regional passenger rail plan for the Dallas-Fort Worth area due to his leadership and the dedication of the entire membership of the board and its staff. Now therefore be it resolved that the Senate of the State of Texas, 82nd Legislature, hereby commend the Denton County Transportation Authority on its completion public launch of the A-Train. So I want to thank you both for your immense dedication, and on behalf of staff, we love you very much, and thank you for all that you've done.
So Dave, probably next to Charles, you've been here the longest, so
Yeah, I've got a few words to say in this one.
oh, we better sit down.
Yeah. I've written it down so that I can try and make it through this, but it's not often in life that one crosses paths with someone whose integrity, passion, and commitment to a cause is without equal. Yet that is exactly what has happened to me over these past 12 years as I've had the honor of serving with Charles. From the moment I got involved with the DCTA, it was evident that this is a special place, and that Charles is a special leader dedicated to doing anything and everything he could to ensure the success of the fledgling organization. By that time, he had already shepherded DCTA through passing the enabling legislation, through a countywide election to create the DCTA, and through multiple elections to provide operational funding. But he didn't stop there, because once these challenges were out of the way, he set out to master the biggest challenge of all, the building of the A-Train. The timelines were extremely aggressive, and when possibilities for federal funding appeared dim, Charles reached out and engaged every local, regional, and state leader he could find. The result was a miracle that secured $250 million in regional funding to build the A-Train. What's not well known is the fact that the regional funding had to go through the state coffers first, and how hard Charles had to work behind the scenes to prevent sticky fingers along the way from siphoning out all or part of the regional toll revenues before they got back here. As the years rolled by, Charles's unflinching focus on excellence and cooperation caused DCTA's stature to grow both in the region and nationally. DCTA gained a reputation for innovation and leadership demonstrated by initiatives such as the Regional Transit Agency Summits, Contract Revenue Service, Positive Train Control, or PTC, the three letters that strike fear in the hearts of railroad, and Mobility as a Service, and others. The PTC implementation deserves a special shout out because it was completed ahead of almost every other agency in the country without adding any debt to the agency, thanks in no unsubstantial effort to the large efforts by Charles to secure an additional $12 million in regional funding to pay for it. As a result of his leadership, those of us around him spent time every year talking about succession planning. Always starting with the premise, do you think we can talk Charles into staying another year? Yet year after year, we happily dodged that bullet because we knew that there was no one who could possibly fill such immense shoes. And no recognition of Charles would be complete without recognizing the contributions of Elaine Newman. From being a force of her own in this county to naming the A-Train. Don't forget that.
I did.
Elaine has graciously sacrificed one of life's most precious commodities, time with the love of her life, for the people of Denton. So Elaine, from the bottom of our hearts. Now Charles would be the first to tell you that no leader is successful on their own, that there are many others who have contributed to the success of DCTA, but no one individual bears more responsibility for the success of this organization than Charles Emily. Charles is the epitome of the servant described in Matthew 25, and as a result has been entrusted with many, many things over the years. But now, after 17 years of dedicated service to the Denton County Transportation Authority, I think the most fitting words that I can say to you, sir, are, well done, good and faithful servant. And thank you.
Thank you, Dave. And at this time, I welcome any other board member who would like to address the Emery's. Okay, so I'll start. We've had a few of these, right, Charles? We've had a few of these presentations, and I think I hit Mike yesterday or the other day because I said, you never told me what this involved. But the thing that's most difficult to replicate is going into any room, whether it's RTC or legislators in Austin or DMRC, DRMC, all these different places, and again, Charles walks in, and he just walks in, and people gravitate to him, like Elaine, you know. So at the meeting that we were at not too long ago, they even wanted Elaine to sit at the table with all of us. But as shadowing you over these 20 months, and we go way back, you know, we go way back. And then after my service to the city, and then I took a break doing other things, and then we reconnected again, you so openly shared everything you knew, and you wanted to know, to make sure that you know, the board members knew this, and do they know that, and do they know these people, and introducing Paul when you were in my position, the same thing. And that speaks to a true leader, one who is preparing the road for the others behind him. And not many people do that, unfortunately. But I just want to say thank you for all the lessons that I've learned, how you can agree to disagree, such like a gentleman and a statesman. And of course, you know, your lovely wife, who sat with my husband on the medical board, and the Child Advocacy Center, we did so many. As Dave and Raymond have said, I can't think of two more people that have been true servants to this community and do it with everything they have. The time commitment, I can't even imagine. But thank y'all so much, because of what paths you put forward, we will try diligently to keep them going and remember everything that you've taught us. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I would just like to add that sometime in the fall, we're going to ask you back. The city of Louisville has asked DCTA to honor you both, and we're going to save that as a little bit of surprise, but we're going to have you back to do a little bit bigger celebration on behalf of DCTA to say thank you and to leave an indelible impression on the city of Louisville and this region. So again, on behalf of staff, we thank you so much for your service.
So this doesn't involve another board term?
No, well, not.
I think it might involve climbing some tower somewhere. Maybe.
In Carrollton?
Maybe.
So you're going to speak?
No. You tell me.
Absolutely, please.
Okay. Just a couple of comments, because there's some history that I don't want to die. And I've got several people blamed for all this. I was in, Elaine and I were down in Austin, and it was about 2000, I believe. And we ran into some old friends. One was Senator Jenny Nelson. Another was Bert Solomons. And they got to talking about this idea they had. And, you know, when you get kind of sucked into this thing, oh, that's a great idea, you know, and so forth, I fell right in it. I mean, they didn't even have to say, you're it, tag, you're it. I had just left the real estate development field, developed office parks and master planned communities across the United States, and I was ready to get back to the family, because Lane almost raised the kids, all four of them. And so I said, this is a great time for me to just step in, and at least if I can't be a part of the management of the family, I can at least be subordinate to her still. Anyhow, the idea of a transit or transportation authority in this county was brand new. I mean, it was one of those kind of things where I remember being in City Hall, and incidentally, when I did the initial presentations, I always had Lane in the car in the parking lot with a motor running. It was that serious. There was one case, and it was some little old town north of that. Three of us did 125 meetings in a year and a half. But we were up there, and there was a guy that stood up in the audience, and he said, I want to tell you boys something. He was about 9'10", and And he said, I drive a Doodle to Dallas every day, one of those 6-wheel Doodles. And he said, you get a real thing, and I'm selling that Doodle. Yeah. We turned the corner right there. I think, it's always easier to leave something, although it's sad, when you see replacements, or you see staff growing up, or you see board members coming in that have the experience, and we're there. We're there. I mean, you've got people that in place right now that take this, go wherever it needs to go. I think there's all kinds of opportunities. And people to approach me from outside the service area before, and I think just decisions and opportunities that this board can explore. But this organization has a reputation that I think will, at some point in time, pressure us to look at other areas, other service areas, I should say. They're already there, but anyhow, we have been just blessed with this family. It's been our extended family since all the kids moved out. I don't know why they all moved out, but they got to stay. Indications, but we just appreciate you all so much. I can remember, if I can even say this, somebody asked me, where did you ever get this kind of an attitude or whatever? So I got thinking about it, and I remember at 18 years of age, Texas A&M, I'm standing in front of the Memorial Student Center, and it says, in this center, and I was a freshman with a uniform on, just barely understanding what I'd committed to, and on the front of the Memorial Student Center it said, greater love hath no man than this, that lay down life for a friend. And I said, whoa, this could be life itself. And certainly, I think 5 years thereafter, I will say this, 5 years after I saw that, I was in downtown Dallas just before I went on active duty in the military, and I was standing in triple A pass when the shot hit. And I said, my gosh, how far does this go? I mean, here's the President of the United States getting shot, and I'm sitting here fixed to go in on active duty. But I understood the word sacrifice, understood the word that commitment, which is great. And that's kind of answers the question I've had so many times. Why do you do this kind of thing? You got, gosh, we have 21 grandchildren, 4 children now, and they're all saying, we're going to take you out of our wills. So anyhow, you kind of understand a little bit more about us. Both of us have the same kind of heart. She, the time I was on 7 boards, she was on 5, and we just believe in turning back to our community and giving back to what we received, which has been great. You all are still a part of our family. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see what you're going to get into next.
It's not going to be babysitting grandchildren, I will assure you.
Elaine! I'm
Might be
surprised.
spoiling.
Can we pull it down a little bit? Yeah, pull it there. Perfect.
Hopefully one of those doesn't have somebody's eyes closed.
Oh, one of them, no, we're good. Thank you very much. I appreciate this because I told Charles, I said, I'm gonna go out there afterwards and take a picture of all these pictures of us.
Well, you can still
And
do
now I
that.
have them.
Let me help you.
Yes. Thank you all.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Elaine.
Elaine, just do what my grandmother did. There was a 2-week window in the summer that the grandkids were allowed in the cabin. That was it.
Not 21 at one time, though.
No, no.
Thank you.
Not every.
Electric powerhouse up here.
Well,
All right.
Diane,
You want to top that?
Um,
Top that. Top that, Diane. Okay, we're still in session.
Okay, so, public comments. Okay, Brandy says none at this time. What? Agenda item number 2, consent agenda. Approval of minutes for the board work session and regular meeting on May 23rd, 2019. B, acceptance of monthly financial statements, May 2019. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the vote was unanimous, the motion carries. Agenda item number 3, regular agenda discussion and approval of proposed service changes for August 2019. Troy, back to
Yes.
you.
Our recommendation is for the A train midday schedule, the Louisville and all other connecting routes that are adjusted schedules, and then the additional service at UNT, and also the Title VI exceptions, and we ask that you accept it. Approve it.
Motion approved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The vote was unanimous, the motion carries. Agenda item 3B, discuss and approval of proposed fare changes for University Pass program. Marissa?
The proposed changes to the University Pass program are on pages 142 through 149 of the packet. Again, this is just our main goals here are to simplify the fare structure and align with our existing local and regional reduced rates. The fare equity analysis, Title VI, is included in the packet, as well as the public outreach documents. And we would ask the board for approval of the fare changes to the University Pass program.
So moved. Second.
Second, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The vote was unanimous, the motion carries. Agenda item 3C, discussion and approval of interlocal agreement with City of Corinth for a station concept and estimate development through DCTA's LAN Inc. contract. Raymond?
Yes, we're asking the board for consideration and approval of an interlocal agreement with with the City of Corinth for station concept and estimated development costs. Our contractor, Lockwood, Andrews, and Newnham, will be providing through the ILA an estimate of cost and initial phase 1 estimate for the City of Corinth. We're asking the board to approve this item.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The vote was unanimous, the motion carries. 3D, discussion and approval of resolution R19-09 authorizing FY 2019 budget amendment number 2019-12, revised operating budget amendment for phase 1 of the Corinth study expense and revenue. Raymond?
Yes, this item goes with item 3C. We need a budget amendment in order to pay for the interlocal agreement that will be subsequently passed through to the City of Corinth for payment. We're asking the board to authorize and approve this this amendment.
Motion to approve.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The vote was unanimous, the motion carries. Discussion and approval of task order for City of Corinth for a station concept and estimate development through DCTA's LAN Inc. contract. Raymond?
This item is associated with item 3C and 3D. This is the task order. We need board approval and authorization of the task order so that Lockwood, Andrews, and Newnham can proceed with the work as described in the prior agenda items. We're asking for approval from the board.
Seconded?
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The vote was unanimous, the motion carries. Agenda item 3F, discussion and approval of proposed information technology acceptable use policy. Javier?
We are seeking to implement a new information technology acceptable use policy that protects our assets and our data, and we are seeking board approval to implement this policy.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The vote was
Aye.
Yeah, I don't know if I said it loud enough, sorry.
unanimous. The motion carries. We will not be going into executive session this afternoon, so that takes us to agenda item number 6, chair report, discussion of regional transportation issues. I just, at the RTC meeting, the last RTC meeting, North Central Texas Council of Governments 2019 Progress North Texas is just a very interesting magazine, and what I love about it is they commission students to do an art picture, right? And this one was selected, and I think it's so appropriate because when we talk about transportation, these kiddos are the ones that we're thinking of as we consider our transportation in the future. So I thought that was really, really sweet. And then at the RTC outside was Trinity Metro's Dash, their new electric bus. It is a pilot program. Pretty cool. We were debating the actual color. But so it's a Regional Transportation Council. This was from Bob Balzer. On behalf of Trinity Metro, I would like to express my deep appreciation for the funding you provided for the Dash. Our upcoming electric bus service will offer a premium option for North Texas residents and visitors to Fort Worth Cultural District, Dickies Arena, and 7th Street Restaurants and Entertainment. So again, this is a pilot program, very interesting, very, very cool on the inside as well. So anyway, just wanted to share that with the board. And that's it as far as chair report. Agenda item number 7, CEO's report. Raymond?
There's one budget transfer.
We do have one budget transfer for $150,000. It's movement within the rail department budget, and this relates to the LAN contract for the track study related to PTC implementation. The contract itself was approved at the board meeting last month. We said it could be accommodated within the existing budget, and then we just were moving funds from one account to another within the rail department. Again, this funding will eventually be reimbursed by the FRA grant. We received pre-award authority to do this track study as a preemptive part of the track adjustments that we'll be making for the Chrissy grant.
And I have no regional transportation issues at this time. So I think that concludes unless there's questions with regard to number 7.
Okay, that takes us to agenda item number 8, report on items of community interest. Dave?
I have one thing. Many of you guys, my fellow board members, you know that I spent a lot of time on the road. I woke up in Vegas this morning, not intentionally. The tornadoes last night canceled my flight. I was supposed to be here last night and got in this morning. Had to get up this morning and make it in. That cemented a decision, a conclusion I came to finally this week. And you guys, I know we've talked, Raymond and several others, Diane and I have talked about it several times over the past year. That's just getting to be too much for me. And with my bite, I've been here for 30 years, but Kentucky is still home, and I've bought a home in Kentucky. So I think it is a good time for me to go ahead and step off the board. It has been a pleasure to serve with each and every one of you. It has been an honor. Some of you, especially the staff members that were Amanda, and, and I'm sorry that Christine is not here, for several of the faces of you that have been here, that were here when I arrived. So it has been an honor to work with such professional staff and hardworking staff that's dedicated to this agency and its mission. And I've had the pleasure of serving with all of you. That has been, a lot of wonderful people have sat in your chairs, including yourselves, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to get to know you and to have served with you. And with that, Shannon, if you'll do me a favor, if you would pass that to Judge Eads, I would appreciate it. And Diane, this is for the North Texas Board. That one's for you. And I will offer my resignation and say thank you very much for the opportunity. The judge and the court, thank you for the opportunity. It's been great. I've learned a tremendous amount, and I wouldn't undo it for the world. So, thank you very much.
And you've contributed a generous amount, and we'll honor you at one of our next
We'd love to have you
meetings.
back so we can honor you, much like Charles. Your service and dedication to this agency have been, words can't describe the contributions that you've made, so we thank you for that. You've served as the chair of our finance committee. You've been over program services. You've provided a lot of stewardship and a lot of guidance, and we thank you immensely for all that you've done. And public service, I don't need to tell you because you do it. I serve on boards, and I do advise young folks that are trying to work with their careers and looking at their jobs and things. And you do a lot of things not because you want to thank you at the end. It's because you want to give back for the people that have gone before you and have contributed. And so I thank all of you, but certainly, Dave, you're going to be missed because you've always contributed, not just because it's the right thing to do, not because it's the easy thing to do. You've always stood up and have taken on challenges because you know deep in your heart that from your perspective, you're trying to do the right thing for the general public, for our writers, and for this region. And words can't describe how much we appreciate all that you've done. This was a little bit of a surprise that it was happening.
Yeah, I
and
struggled with it, and then last night, just confirmed that it was time, so.
But you've had a lot of last nights over the years.
Yes. Needless to say, there's been many a time I walked into this room and people have asked me, so where did you wake up
But
this
you've
morning?
been
And but I've been here. There have been several times in the past year where I have actually bought a plane ticket to be here for certain meetings.
Yes, you have.
And because I love this agency that much. And, it was like, no problem, just do it. Let's get down there and let's
Thank you so
do
much.
it. So
well, I'm glad you were here today. Your words describing the dedication and efforts that Charles and Elaine have contributed were just inspirational. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Anyway.
All right.
Any other items of community interest that anyone wants to?
Just a quick note, I wanted to thank staff for the trails program that we had earlier in this rainy month. It was a lot of fun. I really think that there's a great opportunity there to have a lot of activity along the rail trail and really get all of our sister cities involved. I see at times when we have musicians in the trains running up and down the line and all the different cities being able to kind of showcase what they do here in Denton County. Baby steps.
It was great to see you out there. Thank you.
I don't know about that. I was in my bicycling talks, so
I don't know. Yeah, that's.
But it was a lot of fun and really appreciate everybody and all the work to get that done.
Thank you.
Staff did an incredible job, especially since they had to cancel it and then reschedule it, and it was amazing. We had a great time standing out there in Highland Village and then riding to Denton, and it was great. So thank you.
I do have one last request of the board and staff. Wi-Fi, please.
Yes. And then on our last item, the RTC will be recognizing Charles at their July 11th meeting, which will begin at 1. And Brandy, they moved the location, right, because of the construction there. Do you remember where that's at?
I do not remember, but I'll put it.
But we'll send it to everyone. Yeah, again, so that will be recognizing Charles at the July 11th. And so if there's no other comments or
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
everyone in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 4:31.
Okay.